CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday. Sioux Area Hospital declared a code gray around 1 this morning. A code gray is a critical system or infrastructure issue impacting care. Officials at the hospital say they're experiencing hardware issues and that their computer systems are down. The hospital is still open, but the issue may lead to delays or appointments and procedures being rescheduled. The emergency department is still open and people are still told to call 911 or come in for emergencies. The hospital says this is not a cybersecurity incident, but an infrastructure one. Private patient information is safe. Okay, it's time for our first check on weather, and a lot more cloud cover today and some showers too. For more details, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman.
Just when we thought we got rid of the showers yesterday, they're back, Tony. They're back for a couple of days, and we've got some sleet in the forecast as well. First take on weather brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at getcaa.ca. Here's that system that's swirling around, and well, that purplish view that you see right now is actually snow in some parts of northeastern Ontario. So it's coming. Tony will have some details on the 5-day forecast and more all coming up. Back to you.
Thanks, Rick. The North Bay Police Board approved its 2026 budget this morning and is sending it to the city for approval. Most of the budget is going to wages and benefits, but there's a need for new tactical equipment and an assessment of the current detachment. CTV's Eric Tashner breaks it down for us.
We are well positioned.
The North Bay Police Board have their crosshairs locked on a 7.62% increase in its 2026 operating budget. After months of tweaking and discussions with community partners, the board was able to whittle it down from a proposed 10% hike.
There's not a lot of fat to trim. My job is to make sure the community is safe and that we're providing a service that's able to respond to emergencies.
The increase represents close to $2.3 million, with the overall municipal levy set at $32.1 million.
We know we've seen increases, higher increases over the past few years, and this does bring it down to a more manageable level.
94% of the operating budget consists of salaries and benefits. The budget doesn't include money for any new positions, but factors in the new collective bargaining agreement ratified in the summer and updated training requirements under the Community Safety and Policing Act.
There was a lot of things I would have liked to have had in the budget, but I am satisfied with what we have.
The board approved nearly $1.7 million on the capital side to continue tackling community.
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
Ontario Amber Alert in effect. The Peel Regional Police have requested an Amber Alert on October 21, 2025. Victim 1 Skylar Rose Deschaper, 1 year old, girl, white. Suspect 1 Anthony Deschaper, 38 years old, male, white. Suspect vehicle is a 2024 black Nissan Kick license plate FRV4520, Quebec. Last seen in Brampton. If observed, call 911 https://amberalert.up.ca.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
3 people have been arrested in Sudbury for more than 20 cases of shoplifting. Police located 2 people in the Cambrian Heights area who were breaching release conditions last week. Officers took them into custody and determined the pair were responsible for at least 20 shoplifting incidents on Notre Dame Avenue over the last 3 weeks. A 29-year-old man and a 34-year-old woman have been charged with theft under $5,000 and were remanded to custody after a bail hearing. A 40-year-old woman wanted for a slew of shoplifting incidents on the Kingsway was also taken into custody over the weekend. That individual is believed to have stolen more than $18,000 between April and September. Sault Ste. Marie's Member of Provincial Parliament has returned to Queen's Park after missing the first day of the new session.
I seek unanimous consent for a moment of silence for the passing of Steve Butland, former Mayor of Sault Ste. Marie, former Member of Parliament for Sault Ste. Marie, recipient of the city's Medal of Merit.
Scott's first act as an independent member was to ask for a moment of silence for Steve Butland, despite having been expelled from the Progressive Conservative Party over criminal charges. Scott was seen rising and applauding his former colleagues during today's session from his new seat in the legislature. Scott's return hasn't swayed Soo Mayor Matthew Shoemaker, who has said Scott should resign. Shoemaker said today he will continue to work around his city's provincial representative.
If he's raising issues that are important to Sooites, then I hope that it'll help advance the cause. I plan to not change course in terms of how I'm conducting myself. I plan to do direct outreach to the Premier's office, to the ministers that have active files relating to Sault Ste. Marie on their desks, and to advocate for the Soo, with the government directly, as he is no longer a member of it.
Scott did not respond to an interview request from CTV News. He will be in court tomorrow morning on charges of assault and assault with a weapon. It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5. Rick has your full weather forecast. Right now, though, we're off to Elliott Lake and the Fire Tower Lookout. It's a wet one out there, 13 Celsius. We will be back in a few minutes.
Well, it's October and the weather will change from day to day, from week to week, and of course, it just happens to be that way in the last couple of days, coming off some showers on the weekend, some sun and cloud yesterday, and more of this as it approaches the northeast and continues to with that path towards at least the province of Quebec right now, heading into Wednesday and Thursday. And with it, we're going to get some mixed precipitation, some sleet, as you can see, clearly see, Kapuskasing, Timmins, remnants to Miskaming Shores, and even greater Sudbury. So could be showers, could be flurries. So get ready for that and more the next couple of days. Sudbury Nickel Belt, here we go. Chance of showers tomorrow at 60%. Chance of sleet on Thursday at 40%. Chance of sleet on Friday at 30%. And then Saturday, Sunday looking much better. 7 and 10 your daytime highs with the sun and cloud. Sault Ste. Marie Algoma, chance of showers for tomorrow at 10. Chance of sleet Thursday and Friday. 7 and 6 your daytime highs. Here we go. Saturday and Sunday. 10 and 12. If you have to do anything on the weekend, save it for Saturday and Sunday because the weather will be much better than it is this week. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of showers tomorrow. Daytime high around 7. Chance of sleet at 60% on Thursday. 5 degrees your high. 5 on Friday. The overnight low 0, -2. And going all the way up to 3 on Sunday. So Saturday, you've got some cloud cover, and Sunday, some sun and cloud with a high of 9. A scorching 9 degrees. To Miskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Chance of showers tomorrow, 60%. Chance of sleet at 60% on Thursday, 40% on Friday. And here we go. Cloud cover Saturday at 5, 8 degrees Sunday with the sun and cloud. So the weekend, at least, for all intents and purposes right now, looking much better. North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of showers tomorrow at 10, dropping down to 5 on Thursday with the chance of sleet, 40%. Again, 40% Friday with a high of 7. Here we go, Saturday and Sunday, 7 and 8 degrees. So, Tony, stick around, wait. You've got a couple of more days before you start seeing some sunny breaks and some nicer weather and some warmer temperatures because it's all happening at least Saturday and Sunday. So, take that one to the bank. We'll get through it. We always do with the precipitation. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. The provincial and federal governments have pledged support for Cap Paper and Kapuskasing, and now municipal officials are urging those governments to take action to ensure stability of the forestry industry. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
The mayor of Kapuskasing says after receiving good news on Friday, Cap Paper is slowly getting up and running again. He says it was idle for about 6 weeks after the board had run out of funds to pay employees. Dave Plourde says the community is relieved. The federal and provincial governments have stepped up with financial investments totaling close to $29 million to get around 300 people back on the payroll. Plourde says work is underway to plan for the operation's future.
We started yesterday morning bright and early on the commencement of that, and it had already been in the works prior to that. But we're having regular updates, and we're going to make sure that we have something in front of the governments very soon.
Plourde, who now also sits as chair of the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, says the support is appreciated, but on the whole, Northern Ontario's forestry sector requires urgent and coordinated action to ensure long-term stability.
It's important to come up with a strategic plan for the forest industry to maintain the jobs throughout the NOMA and FNUM territory, both east and west. Something that balances the wood baskets that exist in those two regions, and that ensures that we're able to saw the logs that are required to build homes. Every community is crying about homes. We need homes.
With recent news of the indefinite closure of Interfor's Ear Falls Mill in northwestern Ontario, the curtailment of Green First Forest Products operations in northeastern Ontario, and closures of sawmills in British Columbia, Plourde says now more than ever, the federal government must work at light speed to secure a fair and durable trade agreement with the United States. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
BMI Group, a company that reimagines and repurposes legacy industrial sites, has officially completed its purchase of the former Espanola pulp and paper mill. The site will operate as BioVeld North, a complement to the company's site in Niagara, advancing energy and bioeconomy innovation. BMI signed the asset purchase agreement in April of 2025, and while officials can't disclose what opportunities are knocking, they say they are in talks with some firms.
I would say that the main theme is to put the wood back to work. How do we put the wood back to work? And that is obviously the site itself has quite a few assets. We have the hydroelectric dam, there's the pulp operation, and also paper making. But we've, if you follow us a little bit in the news, we've also been engaged and invested into some emerging technologies from putting wood back to work.
It's going to take some time, but they are keeping, they've offered 31 employees that are there now, offering them employment as long as they want to stay. And then in the future, of course, we're hoping that it'll bring in more employees and benefits for the community.
Veldman says employees will continue to operate the hydroelectric dam in Espanola. In 6 months' time, the company hopes to make another announcement about prospects for the site. Challenges in the mining sector coming up on CTV News at 5. With an industry on the rise, what is the biggest obstacle to growth for employers? Partners in the mining sector are marking Mining Week in Sudbury. It's meant to highlight the role mining has played in the past, but also looking forward to keeping the industry sustainable. One big concern is the future workforce. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
There's more to mining than finding the rocks, although a very important part.
A room full of employers and other stakeholders hear from experts on programs, resources, and tools to attract talent to mining. The industry is booming, but there's a need for workers.
Workforce is a challenge for all of our members across the province in the Mining Service and Supply Association, and we're really hoping that giving them education opportunities like this where they can learn what programs are available to them.
The labor supply is not as strong as it could be. We have been facing a lot of labor shortages, particularly with skilled trades, mechanics, electricians, and so on.
This forum was one of many events on the agenda during Mining Week in Sudbury. This economist says mining employment reached its highest level ever last month, stressing that need will only increase due to the demand for critical minerals.
There's a disconnect between mining demand, employment demand, and supply. So mining demand can be very volatile. 1 year we could double the number of people we need, but mining supply is not very flexible. And so we need to have supports in place so that we have a robust and steady supply of labor going into the future.
One panelist says youth need to see all the pathways a career in mining could lead to.
We need industry at the table. We need industry to come out and talk to young people about the world of work. We want young people to feel like they have some real intention and inspiration at the point when they graduate and think about their next steps.
One of the other events on this week's agenda is the Mine Opportunity Connect for high school students from Sudbury, Espanola, and Manitoulin. That competition gets underway tomorrow at Laurentian University. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
The city of Timmins is offering an extension on transit passes for November. Anyone who bought a pass in October can have their passes extended for use in November. Passengers who are buying passes for November can start using them immediately this month. The extension is to support passengers affected by the recent transit strike, and refunds will be provided to anyone who purchased their October bus passes before September 29th, when the strike began. Greater Sudbury's mayor, early childhood educators and childcare workers gathered at Tom Davies Square today. They were celebrating the workforce amid a pending agreement with the federal government. CTV's Madison Merrier has that story.
The city of Greater Sudbury celebrated the 25th annual Childcare Worker and Early Childhood Educator Appreciation Day today.
Doing a proclamation kind of just raises the awareness, right? Saying that we're, as a city, we thank you and we declare this day an Early Childhood Educator Day. Right? And so the fact that we're acknowledging that importance of that work and those workers.
We definitely are celebrating. We celebrate the work that these folks are doing in our communities every single day. But we also know that we need to advocate. We really need the governments to work together to continue the plan.
In 2022, the Government of Canada signed the Canada-wide Early Learning and Childcare Agreement for 5 years, lowering childcare fees to an average of $10 a day. In Sudbury alone, there were over 3,600 children from the age 5 and under on the wait list.
It is agreements that the provinces have and territories with the federal government for a national childcare plan. So we have this plan that is expiring March 2026.
The independent author's report regarding the Canada-wide Early Learning and Childcare Program states that in 2026, an additional 10,000 registered early childhood educators could be needed by December. But Mantelak says there are only 160 days left in the 5-year agreement that ends next March.
Make sure that we can continue having the benefits to families, children, workers, the economy in general, to ensure that we have proper funding and stable funding for our childcare plan.
We want our economy to grow. More workers in the workforce is key. So that's why early childhood education and the educators and spaces are key to making that happen. That's why when I was former MP, we actually started that program federally and in partnership with the provinces.
We reached out to the Minister of Education, Paul Calandra, for a comment on the ongoing negotiations, and we did not receive a response by deadline. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
So what is the pet of the week? When we return, our Take Me Home Tuesday segment. You're watching First at 5.
91.7 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for 2 every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Welcome back to Take Me Home Tuesday. For this week, we have a special guest in the house, as we always do. But first, I want to introduce Emma Bailey, who works at the SPCA, and DJ. Colorful kitten.
She is. She's very beautiful with her colors. She's 3 years old, so she's looking for a home that can help her run and play, move about. She does have a front limb disability. She was born with it. It doesn't cause her any pain or discomfort. She moves around just as fast as almost the other cats. But she is looking for a home that can follow up with her vet care so that we can make sure she's always in the best condition. She's also looking for a home without other pets. So she's not a huge fan of dogs, and then we're worried with other cats there might be some competition in the home. So it's best to find her a home where she can be the solo star, the main attention in the home.
And of course, she can get plenty of attention and be spoiled, because that's what we do with our cats and dogs around. But DJ, compared to some of the other kittens, docile, pretty quiet, behaving herself.
She is. She's very calm. She really likes just hanging out with people, curling up with you on the couch. She's always looking for affection. So we're looking for that home that can give her that love, curl up with her at the end of the day, and just give her the best home she can have.
Okay, so she manages to get along quite well on her limbs and then what have you. So really no other serious concerns?
Nope. We're hoping her home that can make some accommodations for her maybe. So if you have hardwood floor and you notice she's slipping a little, maybe putting a rug down for her, just stuff to help make her more comfortable is always helpful. And then her adoption price is the regular $260. She's fully spayed and neutered, microchipped and vaccinated. So she goes home with a Royal Canin bag as well to help her settle into her new home.
That is the total package for DJ, and you have some exciting news as well. You have a new manager.
Yes, I do. Rob is our new manager. He's coming from a background in pharmacy, so it's his first dip into the animal care world, and we're so excited to have him. He's doing great at getting used to the animals and really exploring the environment, and he's helping support me this weekend with one of our Halloween fundraisers. So we're getting into the spooky season already, so this Saturday we have a photo shoot at Wren's Pets, so you can stop by between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. and get a photo in our photo shoot, and all the proceeds come back to help our animal center. We also have, because we're very busy, on Sunday we have a walk with Junction Creek, so you can join us at Twin Forks Park. Bring your furry friend in their best Halloween costume, and then just enjoy a beautiful afternoon with friends.
Okay, the weather forecast right now calling for sun and cloud. Should be a nice day for that. So no rain compared to last weekend. That much I can say. Let's find a home for DJ. DJ needs a home. We'll be back in 7 days with more on Take Me Home Tuesday.
The Timmins and District Hospital Foundation received funding that will help premature and critically ill newborns. $88,000 from the Sandra Schmerler Foundation will help the hospital create a new neonatal resuscitator care bed and an acute care room. The money will help the hospital move toward a level 2B NICU designation, which will help families stay closer to home. Community Living Kirkland Lake is the big winner thanks to Rock Solid Wrestling. A check worth more than $3,500 was presented yesterday to the organization following a wrestling event in August. More than 400 people attended the Rock Solid Wrestling show. And back to Timmins now. Tina Canelli-Boucher sent us this photograph of her cat Gizmo. She says the feline was very curious about her pumpkins and can't wait for carving day. Thanks so much, Tina. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And finally, Northern Ontario has Jays fever. This was the scene at Sudbury's Overtime Sports Bar and Grill last night as the Toronto Blue Jays faced off against the Seattle Mariners in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. Toronto got a 3-run home run from George Springer to vault the Jays into the World Series. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.